What is up, you guys? Coastal Beasto 9 here to bring you two videos today. This is the first of two. I stopped at FYE again yesterday and picked up a couple Blu-rays again for cheap, which is awesome. That's the main reason I go to FYE is because you can usually get pretty good movies, multiple, on Blu-ray for like 10, 15 bucks, like three of them. So I did that yesterday. But as promised, this is the third time I'm attempting this, okay? The first time I attempted this, I was interrupted midway. The second time I attempted it, I uploaded it and realized that it was sideways and deleted it immediately after. But it was like 3 in the morning, and I was like, I'm not redoing this tonight. So, third time's a charm, and we're going to do a quick little review on The Strangers Prey at Night. This was requested by Rosie Garcia. So here we are. Sorry about the delay. And real quick, guys, just wanted to point out that I'm not going to get super in depth, like spoiler wise, with the movie. It's going to be a basic overview and then my thoughts, and that's pretty much going to be the video. So The Strangers Prey at Night, you would assume it picks up 10 years after the first one, just because there really isn't a date given to you, and it's been 10 years real time. You would assume, but we don't know. And basically, the story is that a teenage girl keeps getting in trouble at school and at home. So the family is taking her to a boarding school, but they stop halfway there to sleep at their aunt and uncle's mobile home park, and they are going to finish the drive the next day. But they run into the strangers at the mobile home park, and that's pretty much the premise. It's balls to the wall, man. It took 10 years to make the sequel, and for whatever reason, I don't know why. Because the first one was, it holds a kind of a cult status to a lot of people. It's a good movie. It's a very good movie. It did the home invasion thing really well. It was very mysterious, very methodical. So I don't know why it took them so long to make a sequel, but they finally got around to it. And this movie is the polar opposite in tone to the first one. So, in the first one, you have the strangers as these mysterious, meticulous, playful people. It's a home invasion film. It's very slow burn. It builds up to the finale, and that's how the first one is. This one is a straight up 80s slasher movie. This one, right from the get-go, you understand that this movie is going to be pretty in your face. It doesn't leave much to the imagination. So if you're a fan of 80s horror films, 80s slashers, anything from Friday the 13th, Sleepaway Camp, movies like that, Prom Night, it's a lot like that. There's not a lot of character development. There's not a lot of plot. It's very simple, and it's understood, and it rolls with it. Now, me personally, I love that. I hate when now I'm not saying I don't like, other types of horror films, because I very much do, obviously, that. But when a horror film tries to be something that it's not, you get this weird, murky tone throughout the movie of, okay, well, you marketed yourself as this. You're clearly this, but you're trying to be this. Which one is it? This movie is fairly straight to the point. We're an 80s nostalgic slasher movie that's just kind of a thrill ride for an hour and 20 minutes. And it runs with it, man. Real quick, some things that I didn't like about the movie. I have 3 cons when I think about this movie. Only 3. And those 3 are the main girl, the teenage girl, played by Bailey Madison. I can't remember her name in the movie. I don't think it even says on the back. It doesn't. Her acting, at least for the first half of the movie, is kind of cringeworthy. Now, toward the end, when shit's hitting the fan and she's in the middle of it, I didn't mind her at all. But, trying to be sympathetic and upset and I don't know, just I wasn't buying it. She made me cringe. And when, anytime we watch this movie, my fiance thinks all I can think of is Bridge to Terabithia, because I guess that girl was in Bridge to Terabithia. So yeah, it takes you a while to get used to her. Wasn't a huge fan of I wasn't a huge fan of the oh shit, lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of how the strangers weren't as playful in this movie. Now again, as I said, the movie lets you know that pretty much from the beginning. Like it's a different tone than the first one. It's not this slow burn home invasion type movie. So it's not a knock on the movie. It's just me personally having known the strangers as super playful and mysterious. It was kind of a bummer that they weren't as much in this movie. Although I will say they still have their moments, you know, the drawing of the smiley faces and the words and the just kind of off in the distance, just staring at you and then running away. Like those moments are still there, but they're definitely few and far between. Um, and I had a third one. Oh yeah, biggest con for me in this movie, the very, very end. Okay, if you've seen the movie, you understand what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the very last scene before it cuts to black. What were you going for? You know what I mean? Like, I was confused. Because, not confused in the sense of I didn't understand what was happening, but confused like, this wouldn't make sense. Not in this setting, even if you were trying to allude to something or set up a sequel, this right here would not make sense in any way, shape, or form. It was just kind of like, I don't know, kind of like a grab you type of ending. Mysterious. And I think it fell flat. Personally, I did not like the very end of this movie at all. So that kind of blew. But yeah, now the pros for the movie. Overall, the acting is really, really good. I'm very familiar with where they filmed it because it's a half hour away from where I've lived my entire life. They filmed in northern Kentucky. You can see downtown Cincinnati in multiple shots, and I recognize like all the roads they're driving on and stuff in northern Kentucky because I've been there 1,000 times. So that was really cool. Haven't made my way around there yet. I don't know why, but I do plan on doing so. So that's cool. The violence in this movie is great. I mean, it is great. It's very, very, very visceral in tone and visuals, and I love that. Don't hold anything back. And that's my favorite thing about the movie is not holding anything back. This movie is marketing itself as an 80s type slasher movie, and it just goes for it, and I love that. This movie wouldn't win any Oscars. You know, this movie isn't gonna. This movie isn't going to end up on a Critics' Choice Awards list or anything like that. But take it for what it is, and it's so fucking fun. And also, I will say, it's very aesthetically pleasing. It's very well made. You can tell that. I believe it was made on a budget of like $5 million, which is pretty small nowadays. And I think it made like 30 million last time I checked or something like that, which was kind of a bummer because of how much hype there was for a sequel for 10 years. It made 6 times its budget, so it broke even. It was definitely in the black, but like you would have expected this movie to, near toward 100 million worldwide with all the hype. And then we probably would have had a third one being filmed right now. But it didn't happen, and I think the biggest reason it didn't happen was because they waited too long. There was hype the first couple years afterward, but it started to die down, and people started to, think it was never going to happen. And so it's kind of a bummer. I think they waited a little bit too long to put it out there, but I'm glad they did because I really liked the movie. And my 3 favorite things about the movie. 1, they fight back. I can't tell you how many times I've watched The Strangers and just pulled my hair out at Liv Tyler's character. Like, why the fuck are you hiding and crying? Why do you think locking yourself in the bedroom is going to do anything? Why are you just screaming and bawling your eyes out? What is that going to do? This movie, they fight back. And now I know there are moments in the first one where they kind of fight back a little bit, but then they, their course gets altered or whatever. But this movie, it's pretty much fight back the entire fucking time. And I love that. Not one point is there like, oh no, we're so helpless and no, just kill us. I love that about this movie is that they're like, nah, fuck this. We're not gonna just let you kill us. You're gonna have to earn it. Love that. Second, number 2, one of my 3 favorite things, and these are going in order. 2, first one, I'm ranking them to my favorite. So middle is the soundtrack. Oh my lord, this soundtrack is fantastic. You have 80s gems everywhere. I mean, you start the movie with the Kids in America. Um, I mean, it's Kids in America. Yeah, Kids in America. Yeah. Sorry. And so right then you're like, oh fuck yeah, you got a Total Eclipse of the Heart. I mean, it's the soundtrack is fucking awesome in this movie. Not gonna lie, and the way they use it as like a device to further certain moments is like, it's fucking eerie. Like some of these songs you'll never hear the same again. And my favorite thing about this movie, Rosie Garcia, I know you know exactly what I'm about to say because you said it on the video in the comment. The pool scene. Okay, let me just say really quick. The pool scene in The Strangers Pray at Night is not only one of the best scenes I've ever seen in a horror film, it's one of the best scenes I've seen in a film, period. The pool scene in this movie is absolutely beautiful. It is gorgeous. I mean, you've got everything working. The lighting, the angles of the shots, it's atmospheric. The Total Eclipse of the Heart by Bonnie Taylor, which plays perfect in this scene. The acting, the action of the scene, it grips you. I mean, there is so much about this scene. The way that the music cues go along to the scene. I mean, it's just beautiful. This scene is action packed, it's suspenseful, and it's heartbreaking all in a span of 3 to 5 minutes. I mean, it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful scene. If you have not seen this movie and you have no interest, go to YouTube and watch the pool scene right now. If you haven't seen this movie and you do have interest, watch this fucking movie like immediately. But know what you're getting yourself into. Again, know you're going for an 80s type slasher movie. Don't go in thinking like, oh, this is going to be complex. There's going to be a lot of layers to these characters and this story, because then you're going to be disappointed. Go into it like you would a Friday the 13th movie or you know, something like that. Anything from the 80s. Go into it like that. Just, all right, I'm ready to have fun with this. And you will. You will have fun with this because I genuinely love this movie. So on my ranking, I'm going to give this 4.5 out of 5 stars. I like this better than the first movie, and the reason being, I told the reasons, but one last thing I really liked about the movie before I go. I liked the home invasion part of the first one, but I would have hated had they done that again. It is set in the mobile home park, and it is restricted. Like that area is as far as they go in this movie. But it's a lot more open. You know, there's stuff outside in different trailers, you know, stuff like that. There's a little more space to work with, which brings in other characters, the use of vehicles, stuff like that. So I really, really did like that a lot too. But yeah, I prefer this movie to the first one. And that's just because I feel like I would have reacted more like they did in this movie than the characters in the first one did. I liked to see a horror movie that was self-aware, that was smart, and that was just fucking fun. And so, yeah, guys, I really like this movie. I have not gotten into, got my ticket from opening night. It's a little faded, but I have not gotten into the special features yet, but I look forward to that. But yeah, guys, this is a really, really good movie. And I would highly, highly recommend this movie to anyone that loved The Strangers or hasn't seen The Strangers but loves 80s horror films. Pick this movie up. I bought it brand new on Blu-ray for $5, which is a fucking travesty for how good this movie is. So pick this thing up, guys. So yeah, that's my Strangers Pray at Night video review. I am going to do one more video actually right after I end this one. So 2 videos for you guys today. Appreciate you watching this one and stick around for the next one.